Well, we've been talking about it all morning. It's getting colder here in the Carolinas, and there could be some winter weather in the next few days. Meteorologist Brittany Van Voorhees joining us again. And Brittany, million-dollar question, will we see snow next week?
There is a chance, Chloe, but it is much higher for the mountains. Probably no surprise, right? So every single winter, right, these models 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out show these crazy snowstorms. Brad prints them out and puts it essentially in a folder of kind of what he calls his fantasy snowstorms because they almost never happen. Now this one, as we're getting closer to the event, there are some small kind of sites, right, that the pattern is showing at least a small chance. And typically it's 7 to 10 days out that we're watching that pattern recognition. So is there a favorable pattern in the southeast to see snow? Now we're at about day 6 because this first chance is pretty much Thursday night into Friday morning. So what the question is here, are we trending up or down? Are we looking more or less likely? I think we're looking much more likely again for the mountains, but we are actually looking at slight tad more likely for areas even across the Piedmont. So that's kind of where we are now. Again, that's 5 to 7 day range. Now, one of the big things that we're going to be watching is where exactly that polar jet stream sets up. I mentioned this earlier in the show, but if the jet stream is too far south, that means the storm tracks sometimes are down in the state of Florida, and sometimes we just don't have the moisture content. And sometimes if they're too far north, our moisture is a tad too warm and it kind of overtakes that cold air and it allows for what we call the warm nose. You guys have heard that before, where kind of the mid levels of the atmosphere are too warm and it results in more of a sleet setup. Now, what we can tell you again is we have multiple chances in the mountains, and 2, that we know it's going to be cold heading into Christmas weekend. So in fact, with the moisture coming in today, there's a small chance of a few flurries even tonight, but that's at those highest elevations. Your first real chance is going to be Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. Again, this is for the mountains, and then Thursday night into Friday. So it's a little bit different. And you'll notice that mountain chance here on our European model, but notice the Euro has goose egg right now for much of the Piedmont. But what I'm watching closely that I do think is pretty intriguing is that the GFS, the American, was previously showing kind of crazy totals, right, multiple weeks out. It's kind of taken back and it's a little bit less aggressive now, but the GFS is just one model run. When we talk about the ensembles being a little bit more accurate, it's because what the ensemble does is it takes the same model, but it changes 52 little tiny components and then reruns those models, and we look at how many of those 52, have that chance, things of that nature. And the latest GFS is actually in much, much better agreement. Problem is, both the American model regular and the ensemble is the outlier in this situation. Most model data right now still has that chance pretty low. And if this were to form, if we were to have pretty much that perfect setup with that GFS, it would be likely what's called a Miller A setup, this Miller A nor'easter setup. It's when that low is just off the coastline. We have that track far enough south that we have the moisture, but not too far south. And oftentimes that can lead to a little bit of a wintry mix here in the mid-Atlantic and of course the Carolinas too. So right now, I would say again, there's a chance we're trending slightly upward, but there's still a lot of factors that have to come together, Chloe, to really get that answer that I know many folks want to hear. Not everybody, but many folks do like hearing that, S word, the one that won't get me fired, right? Especially this time of year.
I think the colder weather at least makes it feel like the holidays, Brittany.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot colder. We've talked about it, about 20 degrees colder than normal. So a much different Christmas than last year.
For sure. Thank you, Brittany.